Today, we're going to tackle some of the trickiest sounds in the English language. You know, the ones that can trip up just about anyone, no matter how long they've been speaking. So, let's dive right in.
You know that feeling when your tongue just gets tied trying to say a word like strengths? Or maybe you have to slow way down for a word that looks simple, like texts. If you've been there, you are definitely not alone. Some English words are basically tiny tongue twisters in disguise.
So what's causing all this verbal gymnastics? Well, the culprit has a name. Consonant sequences. It sounds a little technical, but don't worry. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify them completely.
So what are we actually talking about here? A consonant sequence, or a consonant cluster, is really simple when you break it down. It's just two or more consonant sounds all jammed together, with no vowel to give your tongue a break. You know, like the spur in spring, the XTS in texts, or the skr in scream.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Literally. We're talking about the consonant clusters you find at the start of words. Now, it might seem random, but they actually follow some surprisingly predictable patterns.
When you're looking at the start of a word, these sequences pretty much come in two main flavors. First, you've got your S group. That's where S kicks things off, followed by another consonant, like in spy, stay, or sky. Then you have type 2, which is usually a consonant, followed by a sound like R, L, W, or J. Think of words like play, try, and twin.
All right, we know the basic types. Now let's get practical and focus on how to actually master them. This is where the rubber meets the road, and we're going to fix some of the most common pronunciation hurdles right now.
So let's talk about the single biggest mistake that learners make. It happens with three specific sounds: sp, st, and sk. This right here is where so many people get tripped up.
And this shows it perfectly. It is so tempting to add a little vowel sound, like an A or an E, before that S. So instead of stay, people say stay. Instead of spy, they say sp. Just listen to the difference. Spy, sp. Stay, stay. See? That tiny extra vowel is the one mistake we have to get rid of.
So, here's the golden rule, the most important takeaway. You have to force your mouth to start the word directly with that hissing S sound. Stay, spy. Feel that air coming out right from the S? There's no little vowel to get it started.
Okay, ready to level up? Let's move on to three consonant sequences at the beginning of a word. Now, this might look complicated, but believe it or not, there's a very predictable formula. It's almost always S plus a P, T, or K, and then followed by an R, L, W, or J sound.
And here are some classic examples of that formula in action. Let's try saying them. I'll say it, you repeat. Spring, street, screw, square, splendid. The trick is to practice blending those three sounds together into one smooth motion without adding any extra vowels between them. Now, if you thought beginnings were tricky, oh boy, word endings can be even more of a minefield. The sequences get way more varied and complex. But don't you worry, we're going to break these down too. So, what are the usual suspects we find at the end of words? We've got double stops, nasals followed by another consonant, the super common S endings, that tricky TH sound, and clusters that hang out with L. Let's take a quick look at each one. First up, what happens when you have two stop consonants back to back, like the P and T in slept? Well, you don't actually pronounce both of them fully. You get your mouth ready for the first one, the P, but you don't release the air. You hold it. Then you release the puff of air on the second one, the T, slept. Try it with rubbed. You hold the B and release the D, rubbed. See how much smoother that is? Now, for nasal sounds, that's your M, N, or NG, when they're followed by another consonant, the absolute key is to make that nasal sound really clear and strong. Don't rush past it. Let that sound resonate for a split second before you hit the next consonant. Sense, punch, think. That clarity makes all the difference. This next one, you are going to see this one all the time. It's probably the most common final sequence in all of English. And why is that? It's all about grammar. We tack on an S for plural nouns like cats, for possessive forms like Pat's car, and for third-person singular verbs like he looks. It is literally everywhere. Okay, prepare yourselves. We are now entering the final boss level of consonant sequences. This is where we go beyond single words and see how these massive consonant chains get formed in natural, everyday connected speech. It's pretty cool. So how in the world do we get these super long chains?
Well, it happens when one word ends in a consonant cluster and the very next word starts with one. They just link up like two train cars connecting. Take the phrase, the bank's closed. The NKS from banks links right up to the CL of closed, and suddenly you have a 5-consonant chain, nkskla.
Let's build this up. We'll start with a chain of 4. Take the phrase next Sunday. The word next ends with 3 consonants, k, s, t, and Sunday kicks off with s. When you say them together naturally, they link up and create a 4-consonant chain, k, s, t, s. Listen closely. Next Sunday.
All right, ready to step it up? Let's go for 5. Consider mixed sweets. The word mixed gives us the cluster kst, and sweets begins with sw. You put them together and you get this 5-consonant beast, kst, sw. Let's say it together, mixed sweets.
Can we get to 6? Oh, absolutely. Think about the phrase next spring. You've got the k, s, t from next crashing right into the sp, r from spring. And that gives you an incredible kst, spra chain. Honestly, this is what fluent connected English really sounds like.
And now for the grand finale, the Mount Everest of consonant chains, 7 consonants in a row. This is the ultimate challenge. Take the phrase, the text stupid. The word texts ends with 4 consonants, kst, and stupid begins with 3, st. Put them together, and you get a mind-blowing 7-sound chain, kst. It takes some serious control to say it smoothly. The text stupid. Wow.
So after all that, what's the one big secret to mastering all of this, from a simple 2-consonant pair to a 7-consonant monster? It all comes down to one thing: smooth connections. You have to let the sounds flow one into the next without panicking and adding extra vowels to break them up. That right there is the true key to fluency.
And that's our deep dive into consonant sequences. You now have all the tools you need to spot them and practice them. So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Go out there and listen. To conversations, to movies, to music. What's the longest consonant chain you can find and actually pronounce? Give it a shot. You'll be surprised what you find.